Okay, yeah, this is a quickie review of Pacific Rim Uprising, the second in the Pacific Rim saga. Some of the critics are already saying it's better than Transformers Last Night. It's better than Power Rangers, the current movie. It's like Independence Day. 2, actually, not the first one. It's all of those things. Well, it's an apocalyptic movie, so it has apocalypses in it. In that sense, sure, it is. It was fine. It was okay. The critics were a little harsh to it, but yeah, it's about half, maybe over half of a good movie. A lot of character development, so it's a lot like my Robotech parodies, because can't show much battle with Robotech plastic figures. Now, these guys had a budget. They had, enough money to make a multi-million-dollar epic with robots fighting each other. And my production stuff, of course, is like one person doing all of the effects. And maybe 2 people, if I'm lucky, doing the voices. And some of the camera work. So, yeah, as opposed to a staff of hundreds, well, or even a half of 500, well, I don't have that. But yeah, Pacific Rim is at times basically like a glorified Power Rangers. I would say it's more of a Voltron than the Power Rangers. It's more of a Voltron. They're a team force that trains in a giant robot. Linked together to fight with giant. It's different than, well, it's similar to Power Rangers in that that Voltron and Power Rangers are Super Sentai Saiyan kind of team makes a robot kind of thing. But the Jaegers in the movie, the Jaegers, they transform into. They don't transform together. One of them does transform though, the little scrapper one. He transforms to a little ball, and he can roll. So it is like Transformers, and it has a kind of odd, useless teenage girl character who is the target audience, I guess. I can't imagine why, but I'm not. They're definitely girl Transformer fans, but I'm wondering why they. I guess they just didn't want to make the movie a complete sausage fest. So they included a bunch of female characters, but really they act like male ones, so it doesn't really matter. They're all gung-ho and testosterone-fueled and stuff. And fight each other and say stuff in Russian and in Mandarin. This movie has the plot of... The reason I bring up my fan films is this movie has a plot of basically Trans Tech Part 1, Metal Shot Doomsday. There's an evil scientist guy using the power of the evil robot forces the kaiju to try and destroy the Earth or take it over because he doesn't like the Earth because they've infested him. A very similar plot to Strabog of the Metal Shot, whose motivation to destroy the world is that people aren't paying attention to him. And he tends to end the world so that he'll be more popular. And also he wants a giant robot and opportunity to fire those that have allegedly betrayed him. So, of course, the Decepticon fires him. Now, if they had a scene like that in there where they said, okay, main bad guy, here, pick up the Jaeger robot and put the bad guy in his cannon and fire him, then I'd say, yeah, this guy watched Trans Tech. That happened. But no, they didn't do that in this one. But no, it wasn't. I did not work at a computer company. I know it's not Strabog. I wasn't inspired by anything other than Transformers to do my fanfics with Mark's Cards earlier, whose real last name sounds like the robots in this movie. Also, what about Pacific Rim 1 and 2? Mako with a K is also a Mark's Cards thing. Pacific Rim is basically... Both versions are basically like what would happen if they gave us money to make a Transformer movie. That's probably what it would look like. It would look a lot like Pacific. There would be like kaiju Godzilla monsters and fighting some kind of sort of weird ethereal beings, and there would be like alien devil creatures, and yeah, giant robots fighting them, of course, because giant robots, right on. The giant robot craze is quite popular and still going around strong. Yeah, and we're on the set of yet another Robotech thing, fan film, and yeah, so why not go watch Pacific Rim today on Saturday? Yeah, so it's fine. It's entertaining. See it in theaters because it has a lot of action and 3D stuff. You don't need to see it in 3D though. That would make it confusing. And yeah, some people complained that in the movie that you couldn't tell who was fighting who. And I found that at times in this movie as well. I find that a lot of the Michael Bay movies have that problem as well, and they don't really have character development for the robots in Michael Bay movies. Yeah, the one major drawback to them, other than the plot, doesn't make it a sense. But yeah, and Age of Extinction was a little bit less nonsense than the first one. But yeah, this is clearly the Pacific Rim movies were meant to be Del Toro's Halo movie. They look like Halo figures. Well, that was his intent, but they wouldn't let him do Halo. Now he could. This was another director that took over for him, but I have not looked it up. I'm not gonna. Del Toro produced it and helped with the character design. He could do a Robotech movie too, but it'd be kind of the same thing. Because really, if you had a Robotech movie with the Zentradi giants invading the Earth and all that, you would have a team of cadets instructed with going on the SDF-1, flying Veritex, change into big robots. Their mothership turns into a big robot, an even bigger robot, and they fight the Zentradi, the giants. It would be the same idea as this. So, in terms of big robot movie genre, yes, definitely the same idea. Crossed with Godzilla. So they took two unrelated ideas, vaguely related ideas, fantasy ideas, and put them together. As Mark Card said, yeah, you take Jaws and Disney Princess, put that together, make a thing. Killer Jaws mermaid and Disney Princess, and the Jaws character turns into a prince. But yeah, this is the same kind of idea as Power Rangers. But that's because Super Sentai Seion and Power Rangers and all that is clearly inspired of this. So that's what it is. It's not great. The premise is that the new generation, so it's basically Robotech Matsupita, space climber, has been instructed with building the fleet again, going out on a new generation to fight the kaiju. 10 years later, they didn't explain how this character was, the character in it was the guy from Star Wars, how he'd be there at all, and who the younger guy is and all that, and who the girl is, and what's her connection to anything, and or how she could fight them. But I guess you don't need to know that. It's a little odd. Yeah, it's okay. It's about 50%, maybe 55% of a good movie. Yeah, 3 stars, 2.5 to 3 stars. It's fine. It's not Gun Jocks. It's not Robot Jocks. But it's close. Robot Jocks is like cheesy bad, but it's a Gun Jock is another one, and Gunhead is another one, very similar. The beginning of it is very much like Gunhead, and the end of it is Independence Day. Well, actually, Transformers, and a little bit of Power Rangers. Very much in the city destroying Power Rangers. Yeah, at least unlike Transformers, they did show the city getting devastated, which was nice. I mean, you have to. You have 50-foot tall robots lumbering around. They would wreck stuff. Megatron would totally like be, okay, I'm Megatron, and I will now step on the flesh creatures. Watch. Transtech went there with G.I. Joes. Showed that. They wouldn't give us the money, but if they did, our Transformer movie would be rated R, because we would show them literally crushing people. Because Megatron was always talking about that. And then Prime would have to stop the bad guy, of course. Optimus Prime, Discharge, clang. Anyway, and of course there's Rule 34 of it, but don't watch it. Oh God! And there's parodies. There's a parody called, of course, Pacific Rim Job, which is a spoof. Don't watch that. Well, it's a comedy joke. They don't actually. Yeah. It's on YouTube, so it can't be that bad. Ew. It is what you think it is. No, God. No, don't look at it. Oh, you cannot unwatch the spoof of Pacific Rim. Why did I come up with a name like that anyway? Ew. But yeah, Pacific Rim 2 Uprising is okay. The characters are rather generic. Heroes are doing stuff, but at least, unlike the Michael Bay Transformers movies, at least the characters are doing something, so that's something. As opposed to, oh, look, we've introduced 5 new Decepticons, and they're really cool. Let's have Prime immediately kill all 5 of them. Yeah, he just doesn't know what he's doing. No, the Transformers need to have personalities like the humans. That way you reach with the Transformers. He didn't do that, but that's a rant for Michael Bay. Anyway, yeah, anyway, so go see the new Bumblebee movie.